Find him everywhere. He is everywhere. You can get him on Instagram, Twitter, but find him on YouTube and watch his podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to the Waterboy Report. Luca Rosano, man, welcome back to Trash Talk Radio.
Hey, it's been a while, guys. I'm super excited to be back on, and I hope you guys been doing well, because I've been on a high, and then I went on a low with all my Raptor stuff.
I tell you what, though, it was probably worth it. That's what we want to ask you, if it was worth it. So we'll get into that as we go. How are things in Toronto? How are things with you? And the Waterboy
Things have
Report.
been good, man. Yeah, things have been good. Personally, things have been great. I mean, this whole championship run has definitely made for some good content. I've definitely been busy, trying to cover some of these games and trying to get downtown in Toronto, interviewing the people, interviewing the fans, and it was just a crazy vibe. I mean, for those months leading to the NBA Finals matchup against the Warriors, it was just a surreal moment and experience. I mean, not only as a fan, but as a journalist, just covering the action and getting down there downtown. It was definitely enjoyable on all fronts.
Good time when the entire city is behind a team. You know what I mean?
Entire country, man.
Yeah,
you keep
right?
talking about a city, a freaking country, man. And it was amazing because
You said that like Luca was hanging out in Calgary.
Luca was my number one source. Like, he was actually my guy. I was always watching the Waterboy Report every time to keep up with the atmosphere, what's really happening in the streets of Toronto, man. The Guru always likes to keep his ears in the streets, man.
Those mean streets of Toronto. Those slightly aggravated streets of Toronto. So Luca, tell us about the run, because you went to a couple of these games, right?
Yeah, I did. I went to a game during the Sixers series. I didn't see the epic 4-bounce winner by Kawhi, but I did go to a game that series. And then I went to 2 games during the NBA Finals run. That was just a phenomenal atmosphere. Both those games were fantastic. I went to game 1, which is, of course, the game we won to begin the series. And then I went to game 5, and I tell you guys, I thought I was about to witness a championship live when the Raptors had a sizable lead, and then they just choked in the last couple of minutes of that game when Nick Nurse inexplicably called a timeout, pretty much shifting momentum in that game. But then luckily for us, we're able to bounce back and win it in game 6. But yeah, the energy, the atmosphere, I mean, it was incredible. And just seeing this team play the type of basketball that they did up close, it was truly a spectacle to watch, particularly Kawhi Leonard. I mean, this guy was in the zone, as you guys saw with your own eyes.
Absolutely, man. And just for people out here, because, people like me who don't got no passports, there's a lot of people like us that don't got the passport to go over there and experience Jurassic Park, man. So tell me, man, did you experience that Jurassic Park? Because what I see on TV, it sounds like it looks crazy, man, in the midst of that madness and that fandom.
So I'll be honest with you, Guru. I was inside the building because I wasn't trying to wait 15 hours waiting in line to get into Jurassic Park. I tell you, those lineups were insane. People had to take work off. People had to stay in line from the AM all the way to the PM when the game started just to get their spot in the square, in that craziness that is Jurassic Park. So no, I actually didn't see a game inside Jurassic Park. I was inside the building. But listen, I got to give all those fans some love, and I got to give them some respect and credit where credit's due, because those guys, it didn't matter if it was raining, it didn't matter if they were waiting in line for 15 hours straight, you had people camping overnight. Those fans made sure they were in that square once tip-off rolled around.
That's a crazy fandom up there. It really is, looking at it. But it looks like a really fun one. When I say it's crazy, I don't mean like Raiders.
Like Philly.
Yeah, I don't even mean like Philly crazy. Yeah. It's but not like Raiders crazy. It's not even like Bills crazy. They're not. And it's close to the same area. But
like Seahawks crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It looks like a good time. Now, you know me, I'm never going to a park like that with that many people, let alone waiting 15 hours for it. But it looks like a lot of fun up there. But Luca, looking back,
it was amazing.
Looking back at these at this playoff run, is there a moment that leaps out for you? For you, what was the one where you knew you were going to win it, and what moment really sticks with you?
Well, the moment I'm always going to remember, and it's funny because I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine a couple hours ago. It's not the championship in itself. The moment I'm always going to remember is the Game 7 game winner from Kawhi when it took 4 bounces before it went in. But I started getting the feeling of, okay, this is actually a possibility when that shot went in. Because I'm telling you guys, you look back at that series, we go down 2-1 and we got to win Game 4 all of a sudden in Philly. It's not looking good. I was thinking to myself, and a lot of Raptors fans were thinking to themselves at the time, here we go again, the same old Raptors, as the Guru likes to say. And I really thought we were headed for another quick playoff exit. But then as soon as that Game 7 miracle shot went in, that's when I knew something was up. And then we win 4 in a row in that Milwaukee series, and I was pretty damn confident going into that series against the Golden State Warriors, especially since Kevin Durant, after he got injured again, I knew it was all but over for the Raptors. I thought this team was a team of destiny, and I really did believe this was our year, and obviously that happened, and we won the championship.
Trust me, there were a lot of us on the Philly side who thought we had that as well there, and it was I think at the bounce because I picked the Raptors.
He did.
I'm not like the only guy that I thought the Raptors were going to win this. I thought it would take
the only American.
Yeah, I thought exactly. I thought it would take 7 to get there because I didn't think they'd lose Game 6 in Oracle. The Raptors in Oracle were lights out, just incredible to do what they did in that series. But for me, it was the bounce against Philly too, and that's when I was all in. I was like, this is the luckiest team of the year. They didn't have to face. Because as a Philly fan, let me just say, I think we should have won that series. With a healthy Embiid, we win that series, and then I think we also beat the Bucks. I knew you guys were going to be the way better team than the Bucks, and then the finals was the test. So I thought it was this going through, and as soon as the bounce went in, it was one of those like, all right, hands off the Raptors. There's from here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and this is actually something I also said off the air. I truly believe if the Sixers were the team that advanced from that series, I really believe we'd be saying the Sixers are the 2019 NBA champions right now, because I really love them in the series against the Bucks, like you just alluded to, and I really think the Sixers would have beaten the Warriors, of course, with Durant out of the mix.
Yeah.
So, I going into that series, I said to myself, the winner of the series is going to have a real good chance of winning a championship.
See, you guys are missing the most important. This the most significant factor in that series. It was, I can't believe you guys are not going to talk about that. It was Drake. Drake was the decision maker. Drake got the Bucks coaching staff. He got everybody scared. How dare y'all not mention Drake?
You had it right the first time. What was that? The factor in that series was not having the fufu and jollof. That was I don't
want to talk about Drake anymore. I mean, the mainstream media has been talking about it way too much. But you know what? Drake was our biggest fanboy, if you will, the biggest X factor in all of these playoff series.
It happened. Every city has that. It was actually, I liked seeing him there. I'm not a Drake. I thought it was shitty or whatever, but from the city's perspective, I thought it's great to have a guy like that that's going to be there and is recognizable and is so like a former
and rubbing coach's shoulders and shit.
It's way cooler than Jack Nicholson. You know what I mean? At least as from a modern standpoint, is it? So let me ask you this now. Did you go to the parade?
Yes, I did, but I was a part of that whole debacle at the end when we thought, actually there was a shooter, but we thought it was much worse at the time, and I was a part of that whole stampede, and it was just a disaster. I mean, what started off as a great day turned into my biggest nightmare, and I just thought the parade was very poorly planned on the part of people here in Toronto. I think the turnaround didn't do us any favors. The city didn't expect that many people coming on out. I mean, there's close to 3 million people. 8% of Canada, to put it into perspective, came to this parade. So a lot of people were there, man.
That's a hell of a number, Luca.
It got out of hand. And like I said, what started off as a great day almost turned into a nightmare at the end. But, luckily, I think nobody got killed. I think just 2 people got injured. But, it was just a crazy, crazy day. I mean, with fans all over Canada coming to Toronto to celebrate the team's first ever championship.
I don't usually go in for the analytics, but 8% of Canada is a stat I can believe in.
It was 8% of Canada. Look it up. 8% of Canada came to this parade.
Absolutely crazy. So then, obviously, the other shoe drops, and the news comes out that Kawhi Leonard is officially going to the LA Clippers. Did this surprise you, and how'd you take it?
So it didn't surprise me. What surprised me more was how it happened, not that it happened, because the whole Paul George going with him was the shocking part about this story, because I thought it was going to come down to the Raptors, Clippers, or Lakers all along. But it's crazy how everything kind of unfolded, because while apparently Kawhi Leonard was having his meetings with the Lakers, he was secretly meeting with the Clippers very low key. And then, as we all know, the reason why it took as long as it did was because this whole time he was trying to convince Paul George to get traded there, which of course the trade finally happened. So I'm not shocked that he left. A part of me, believed that was going to be the case, especially since he got the job done and won the championship here in Toronto. It was just how it happened, the shock factor of, oh, he's going there with Paul George. Like, I didn't see that coming. I'm sure a lot of folks didn't see that coming. But the move to the Clippers in itself, not too shocking, because we all know Kawhi Leonard, he's a homeboy. He wants to go home, play in front of his friends and family. He's a father figure. He didn't really like the spotlight here in Toronto so much, so he got the job done. He won a championship. We can't be mad at him. We're not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. So you know what? He's going to go back home and play for the Clippers now.
Yeah, I love the idea that he, like the consummate professional. Like I was saying this in last week's show, that he told us he was going to do this all along. You know, like this is what he told the Spurs he was going to do, and the Spurs traded him to the Raptors, and he never backed down from it. You know, this was his plan. He wanted to go play in LA, but he handled himself so professionally and did everything that was asked of him, and it was just a great run there in Toronto. I really thought you guys had a shot at keeping him, because it's the kind of fan base. It's hard to leave when you win a championship, especially with a fan base like that. But I think your response to it is fantastic. You know, it's of course he's going to go, but was it worth it?
That he left 100%.
No,
it was worth it.
I mean for him it was. I mean for you guys in Toronto, was this year was it worth it that to have him for the year even though he left?
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you told me at the start of the season, if we win a championship, that means Kawhi Leonard leaves us, I would take that in a heartbeat. I mean, I would redo the DeMar DeRozan trade. I'm not regretting that whatsoever. This is going to go down as one of the greatest trades of all time, even though it was for one season, because we won the championship. We won the ultimate prize. There's some teams who will probably never win the championship. Like the fact that we've made it to the top of the mountain, we've won a championship. It's going to be a moment we're going to get to cherish and talk about for many years to come. I mean, you know, that is irreplaceable. You go all in, you make the trade like we did, and you get the most out of a guy like we did for one season if it means winning the game's ultimate prize. So no regrets on our end. Coming from a fan's perspective, because I mean we're champs, baby.
Yeah,
we're
right.
Champs.
They'll never take that away from you. In fact, I believe that's what you said last year anyway when we talked to you about it. I believe you were like, you know what? If we win it, it's all worth it anyway.
Yep.
But where does this leave you guys set up for next year? Now you're not in shambles by any means. I don't want to paint the Toronto Raptors as being a bad team,
like a victim now.
No, because they still got Pascal Siakam, who has really coming up and proved himself. You still got Lowry. You got a team that won a championship. Now you're missing the superstar, but where do you see this team being next year, Luca?
Yeah, I think this is a fifth seed or fourth seed. I think there's going to be.
But you see them in the playoffs.
I do see them in the playoffs, and I think a lot of people saying they're going to drop out of the playoff picture completely. I mean, I don't think they know this team as well as they should, because looking at this team last season, even in the games that Kawhi Leonard didn't play in, I mean, this was still a really competitive team. It is the Eastern Conference. We're not talking about the West, which is just a bloodbath right now, and we're going to have guys on this team who I believe are going to continue to elevate their game. You just mentioned one of them, Pascal Siakam. I think he's going to continue to develop his game to that all-star type of level. I think OG Anunoby is going to have a big breakout season since he's going to be starting at that small forward position with Kawhi Leonard gone. I think Fred VanVleet is going to continue to develop as a good young prospect on our team. And, we still got the vets. Lowry, I know he's getting up there in age, but I think he's going to continue to ball out. We're going to have Gasol, Ibaka. I think this team's going to be competitive in the East. They're not going to win a championship by any stretch of the imagination. They're not going to make it to the conference finals by any stretch of the imagination. But I said this in a video I released the other day. The ceiling for this team, I would have it as winning a playoff series. And the kind of floor for this team, the rock bottom level for this team is, let's just say we get to the trade deadline, this team's out of the playoff picture. That's when I would see the Raptors be sellers and kind of go the more rebuild route and unload guys like Lowry, Ibaka, Gasol to contending teams and fully blow this thing up. But right now, I think we're going to stay put. They've already said we're not going to blow this thing up. We're going to be competitive. We're going to play it to win, and we're going to defend our throne and see what we can do this season. So I think this is still going to be a 5th or 4th seed in the Eastern Conference that we can even win around.
With your GM up there, he's already proven that he will do what it takes and will think outside the box. And you guys got space. You got you got a good team. You could be one of the destinations for a team looking to blow it up too. You know what I mean? Like if it all goes wrong somewhere, I could see someone landing in Toronto. If you're in a 5th seed position, come the trade deadline, if you're anywhere in there, that's a team somebody's going to want to go to and try and make a run with,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The way this season starts is going to dictate a lot for this team. If this team is competitive, I think we're going to play it out with the guys we have. But if, we get off the wrong foot, guys get injured, we can look at a full-blown rebuild with the Raptors. And I'm okay with that because I anticipated that, especially with Kawhi Leonard's departure. And we're going to have a ton of money to spend, particularly for the 2021 summer. And a guy by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo will become a free agent. And I just dropped a video on that. I think we'll have a really good chance at getting Giannis because of his ties with Masai Ujiri. But that's a conversation for a different day. So I think the Raptors are going to be okay. And Masai Ujiri, like you said, will figure this out because he's one of the best basketball minds we have.
I would never count the Raptors out, and even if not,
you know how I feel about Giannis, where he's going.
Yeah, right. Big city. And you know how I feel. You know how I feel about a rebuild. Being a Sixers fan, I'll tell you, if you have to rebuild, it was the most fun. It really was.
He probably beg to differ because he actually got a championship, man.
Well, yeah. Well, you got a championship out of this, and that's the other thing. No matter what, you can look at the team this year. You can always look at the Larry O'Brien Trophy as the 2019 NBA championship. Toronto Raptors. Luca Rosano of the Waterboy Report, thank you for joining us here on Trash Talk Radio. Head on over there, and you can find Luca everywhere. He's on Instagram under the Waterboy Report. He's on Twitter at the Waterboy Report, and he is mostly at YouTube. Check his videos at YouTube, the Waterboy Report. Waterboy Report. Give him a subscribe. Luca Rosano, thank you so much for joining us on Trash Talk Radio. We will talk to you again, my friend.
Thanks so much, boys. Always a pleasure. We got to do this again soon. Much love.